Welcome to CineKuest Video.
Hello and welcome to CineKuest Video, the podcast that delves deep into those VHS, I was saying VH1 classics, VHS classics, and to the modern day format and beyond, beyond. Okay, so today we're going to talk about kind of a different movie than we have been in the past couple episodes. This is a new movie that just came out this month. It is, what's the whole title? It's Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Extraterrestrials. It's a documentary, I guess.
Bob Area 51
Area 51 Flying Saucers. Yeah. There's one right there.
So Ray, at this point again, I'd asked you before, but you might as well just run through it. How many times have you watched this since you...
At this point, it's like 4 times.
Yeah, dude, now
4?
You told me you watched it twice. So.
Well, I mean, I watched it again this morning, then I watched it right now.
Right, I watched it sort of twice off and on earlier here.
Okay.
I wanted to try to remember most of this, so I knew I was going to need more than one sitting for the...
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I watched it so many times, because I had to kind of like just take it in and see what was going on. See if there's anything I can like really pick apart, you know?
Yeah.
There really isn't much. I mean, besides like the stuff the producers or whatever due to the transitions and like random narration hires they use in this case. Fucking Mickey Rourke out of nowhere.
They really stylized it with the transitions. Like
the film itself is good, or at least the interview film that they use is pretty solid, or it seems that way.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I'm not so sure. It's.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about real quick the overall quality of the documentary. I mean, I think it's shot really well. It's got some good footage from the 80s, 1989, May 12th, 1989.
Yeah.
And 89 in general, of Bob Lazar. And if anyone out there doesn't know who Bob Lazar was or is, Bob Lazar is, I guess, initially the first person who broke the Area 51.
What is the government designation to that again? To Area 51, it's
S4.
S4, okay.
Yeah, that's where he worked in S4.
Near Groom Lake.
Groom Lake, but it turned out to be Patui or Patui or some other...
Ratatouille Lake.
That place.
Well, that's where they flew the saucers over Papoose Lake.
Papoose Lake,
there you go.
There we go. Hey.
Yeah.
I got us there.
Like
right.
the thing you carry the baby in, you know, Papoose?
Yeah, it's on the back. Just climb in.
Roland, do you have any recollection of Bob Lazar before this, or this is like really your first time kind of?
This is my first time actually trying to sit through it, but or like at least remembering things. For the bits before, it's like I want to say I had seen him on some of those Unsolved Mysteries. Or what was it?
Yeah, I do have an episode on my
that you'd showed me
computer.
before, and that I probably like sat through. Throughout as a child on whatever fucking cable station they used to air on, USA or I don't know what. I don't even remember.
What about you, Bryce? Did you have any knowledge of Bob Lazar before this?
Not past that.
Just in some podcasts, other episodes, like some YouTube videos, you know what I mean, like about UFOs and all that stuff. This is the most I knew about, like
pretty slightly. Yeah,
seen about him.
So you're about the same.
Yeah.
Sitting here that I am. As far as Bob Lazaro here.
Well,
Bob Lazar.
Like I said, Unsolved Mysteries is probably the first time I saw it, and I vaguely remember this clip of his first revealing of.
Well, I mean,
Area
you were
51.
the one that has the copies of the Unsolved Mysteries and all that.
Yeah,
so
no, but I mean, even like throughout
So,
my
I thought you were
teenage
gonna
years,
start there.
being obsessed with UFOs and aliens and shit, Bob Lazar was like the first name that came upon me, I guess. He came. Terrible wording. I just said that.
Oh yes, no, it's the best. Keep going.
Only the best words, right?
Don't censor yourself, Ray. Yeah, just don't hold back.
I heard him on, I think, Coast to Coast with like Art Bell, and I think pretty much with George Nori.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a real question. There's a gentleman that comes out here named George Knapp. I for some reason thought he was like guest host on Coast to Coast at some points.
I'm thinking of George Nori.
Is it George Norrie?
Well, I don't know. I've
Well,
never
we'll
heard
see.
of
Well,
George
the
Knapp.
name George Knapp rang a bell to me, but for some reason I thought he was also like a guest host on Coast to Coast, like with you have Art Bell, George Norrie, Ian Punnett or something like that. And I could have sworn George Knapp was in there too, but
Oh, maybe
I could be wrong. I mean, there's so many episodes of fucking Coast to Coast. I'm not even gonna attempt to go through the backlog of that shit.
Yeah.
But George Knapp was the guy who interviewed him first time around and broke the story on his local news station in Nevada.
Yep.
Um,
Coast to Coast AM.
oh, he did?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, see, there you go.
George Knapp.
That's why his name
Sounded familiar.
rang a bell, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, most of the time when I was listening to Coast, when I was younger, it was Art Bell and George Norrie, but then you get some people come in every so often to take over. And did someone else take over now? Because I don't think George Norrie's doing it anymore.
Actually, I was going to say, well, as far as this Napo dude, like his is still going.
Napo.
Well, I don't know. I mean, on our local radio station, it's not even
Middle of the
it's not
morning
even-
stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if it's Coast to Coast anymore. It's this guy, Clive Lewis. He does the Ground Zero or whatever. It's very similar. He's like talking about conspiracy theories and shit. But I haven't heard Coast to Coast in a long time.
No?
No, it used to come on, on our local radio station. Like I would listen to it driving home for like when I live far away from work, and I would put it on. And it doesn't. It's that guy now, that Clive Lewis on Ground Zero. You should listen. Have you listened to that guy yet?
Have I listened to that guy?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
trying
if you
to
like-
look him up right now.
If you
I
like
really-
Ground,
can't really
if you
find
like
anything.
Coast to Coast, you'd like that.
Is that
'cause it's
how
all-
you spell out his name there or whatever?
Maybe it's Clyde Lewis.
Clyde.
I think it is Clyde Lewis. I'm sorry. Try that.
Have a quick.
Let me see. But yeah, I mean, I had not really heard too much of Bob Lazar before this movie. There's a lot of information to take in about him. I just want to know if
Yeah,
I just want
seems
to know if
to.
they ever found the
Seems to
element
be.
115.
Well, he didn't talk about it really much. I mean, he mentioned it, you know, he mentioned what it was and what it's supposed to do, but since they mentioned that he kind of alluded to the fact that he may or may not have taken some of it from the facility that he was working at, but now he won't even comment on that whatsoever. Cause
Well, that's why I
then-
wanted to talk about it too, and I didn't want to. I want to jump into the parts that I remember the most, like vividly, but I don't want to get too far ahead in the
No,
the
no,
film,
I
but,
mean,
like,
There's no real.
we jump in like we're not like going
Okay.
in order.
Chronologically
You know?
here, yeah.
It's not a
no,
chronological
just jump
podcast
around to
here.
as,
But,
as it keeps your attention.
But yeah, the whole scene where he's there, he's asking the guy like, "So do you have element 115?" He's like, "I'm not gonna go there."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, he kind
Yeah.
of like it's like jumps back between the old interviews and the interviews now.
Yeah.
And like another one I thought was funny.
Does he want to get rated again?
Yeah. Well, another one I thought was funny was he's talking about when he did the first, I guess with Jordan Knapp, and they're talking about how he saw the alien. Like he said,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw something."
400
long-"
milliseconds worth.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
lens
It's like it was like
that
a
wasn't
net-
supposed to see.
Yeah, but I mean,
now when he's talking to the new interviewer, he's like, "Oh no," he's like, "No, it was probably just a test dummy and all that." And it's like, come
Well,
on.
yeah, I mean, well, I think he like kind of gives that answer because I mean, you can't
He
say
seems
like
to just be playing
definitively that
both
he actually
sides at this point.
did see the actual being
Yeah.
like alive. I mean, the most he's mentioned is that he saw
A glimpse.
cadavers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
And then the
yeah,
ship,
yeah.
then the technology or whatever. He only mentions it once.
He mentioned it once that he saw like some
Once,
alien
and that's
cadavers,
it.
but like
So he saw fucking cadavers, but like he's not sure. Well, you saw aliens then, man. Like they're not
So
alive.
what the guy does
that
is
is-
get like
is the
secondary
question I had about
information from
that.
someone else, and they have their little sketches of the little green men and or grays.
Yeah.
well, that's
on
one
that
of the
bit.
questions I had is because
And
he
that's what
said
the guy uses to connect it into his.
he
whole
said he saw
Lazar,
the
back to
cadavers,
Lazar.
but he doesn't
Yeah.
say he saw aliens. But I don't know if he's like referring to the fact that he saw aliens alive, that they were there working in the building, which he said he didn't.
Yeah.
But he did say he saw cadavers, so
Right.
it's kind of a trippy or a tricky kind of way of approaching it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I saw one, but it was dead, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and then he's got supposedly
You sure what you saw? What you saw?
The documentary maker, he found the footage, like the 10 seconds of the.
Oh, of one of the
Of the
original
light.
technology tests.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was,
the cloud thing.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, yeah, and I guess in the video, and I couldn't really tell. I was watching on my phone. Can you actually see the light bending, or is that?
No,
actually
no, no.
happening?
So that was like I mean, I thought it was like an approximation of what the actual experiment is supposed to look like. Because
Yeah.
that sort of thing is done in college. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just. I think it was interesting or particular to that test or that footage is because it showed the beryllium or whatever. It was mentioning the beryllium
Yeah.
or whatever at element 115.
Alien
Sorry.
115. Yeah, no, because the beryllium is
being
he's making the beryllium.
Yeah, I was
but,
getting a little sideways there with that.
I just
So,
like go ahead.
They mentioned specifically though in that bit that it's done in the way that the light is actually bent as it passes through that little test.
Yeah.
I don't think the footage that we saw
Yeah, because the
was
times that
what,
I've seen it, like I tried to see like what they were talking
it
about.
didn't seem
like,
that way.
Yeah, it didn't seem like anything was getting. There was no like significant footage of anything spectacular going on.
No.
Yeah, I just like how he said he taped over it. Like, what the fuck,
Right,
like,
exactly.
What the fuck,
He's
taped
like,
over
I
an
have
episode
that
of
exactly.
Seinfeld on there, some
That's
shit. Like,
okay. So no, there
That's
you
what
go.
I wanted to know.
That
What
proves
was
all
taped
of it
over.
there.
Yeah,
That's what I
excuse
wanted
me.
was
Thanks
taped
for
over,
finishing
yeah.
that because I completely forgot how he ends that with saying just slowballing. Oh yeah, it was taped over.
yeah, oh, super,
Like,
super
what?
bad. What's more important
What
than
the
that
fuck are
fucking
you, like-
evidence there, man? Shit.
But they do
You know-
the same.
you know-
They
you know
do
what's
the
more
same thing
important?
when they're showing the actual fuel source itself. When they talk about being a triangular bit, like
Yeah.
they mostly have the Lazar drawing it out.
Yeah.
But then they do have like a little clip of just like this, like 50 sci-fi kind of garbage footage that they probably took from a movie or somewhere of a little triangular like copper piece just kind of floating or something.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That's
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's what I
Smells
was
like
telling-
bullshit here.
I was telling Roland
Good,
that
just
like,
making sure.
like the footage that they use in between, like when the Rourkening was happening.
right. So that's the other bit. That's oh man, I keep.
I mean, I
forgetting.
go.
It keeps you grounded.
They
It
gotta
keeps you
like.
grounded from
They
what you're
gotta throw in
watching.
some kind of dramatic footage to
And
kind of
it
like
is really-
elevate the story. You know,
It really does. They just jump out all into fucking Pink Floyd with that garbage. Just okay, sure.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. But
That-
like,
that-
if you want to see the good bits, just skip through them.
Yeah.
Just skip through them. Save the beer.
The half Lazar, half alien face that they do.
Oh man, I was telling Ray I liked his robot face when he was talking about like, and they always perfectly timed it to like something significant that he'd be talking about like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I studied a lot of like weird shit that we're never gonna understand. Like weird old voice. Like
yeah. Oh, like that right there. Just like cutting in
fuck.
between all this shit.
here we
yeah.
go. Yeah, his
It's like the evolving person, like, or it's the fucking CGI alien.
this
It's like super bad
really
CGI alien.
crappy like late 80s 90s 3D CGI of like an alien's head,
Yeah.
face. Or
You know what? I'm
whatever.
gonna assume that this guy grew up with Unsolved Mysteries as well. So maybe he's just trying to make his own little. He's trying to be Robert Stack or something, you know, himself.
think-
He seems pretty bitter about the whole thing in general. I mean.
Oh, the guy
to
making
be-
the film. He's trying to.
Oh no no
Yeah,
no!
yeah,
The guy
I'm
making the
talking
film
about the guy, yeah.
seems okay.
No, I'm just saying he's bitter. I'm just saying like he's trying to.
No, I meant
He's trying to be
about
as
Bob Lazar.
dramatic as like it is in Unsolved
Yeah,
Mysteries
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. The producers, that's exactly what they were going for with all of this.
They could have just done some dramatic reenactments, man.
Unfortunately, that's why that's the same sort of feeling I got when he was interviewing Bob Lazar. Like he had that kind of like
Yeah.
a little too laid back approach to his questions or his style. I mean, it was effective. It
Yeah.
was very effective. But that's what kind of bugged me about it. Otherwise, everything else is.
What was
Except
it-
for Mickey, not including Mickey Rourke. That's
Yeah.
something else, a separate aside.
What was a few
Everything
times
great.
where he would get a little dramatic, like when they went out into the forest. It's like, all right, well, we're out here. It's like, do you have your phone on? Do you have your phone on? Like I guess they thought they were gonna track him or some shit, or I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing is, right after they did that, they said that the next day he got raided, and they referenced the conversation in the woods because apparently they may have been listening.
It's interesting
Oh.
to know that Big Brother is all up on his everything or whatever.
Well,
to this
I'm pretty sure
day.
they're like still secretly like monitoring him or something.
Yeah.
Because if they
that's-
want that,
Brother,
Oh, what's
Oh
up?
shit, it scared me. Like, where'd that come from?
Hey, what's up?
hi.
Hello.
What's up?
I'm gonna use your door.
Oh,
So I don't wanna
okay.
have to go. Hi. It's locked already, Mom. I think I already locked it.
Okay, cool. I'll just leave that one open.
Okay.
See ya.
I'm gonna use your door to come back.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
that's what.
lock it.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Okay.
gonna catch him masturbating.
Never.
Hopefully not to the Bob Lazar.
Oh yeah. Where'd it go away? I needed some alone
He's
time.
gonna have like the alien face.
No, that's that Mickey Rourke voice, man. You just gotta-
I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
like this on top of everything.
I don't
Okay.
know. Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, I didn't know this, but like the guy that directed this made a short documentary about Bob Lazar back in 2016. It's just called Lazar, and the font
2 years ago?
Bizarre
the
Lazar.
font of the actual movie looks like it's about lasers or something.
Yeah,
Like
well, yeah,
it's
Lazar, man.
laser.
Oh, I see. I get what you did there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time they showed this
Maybe.
guy, did anyone else get bothered by his fucking hair? Like
Everything was
That's
not.
exactly
I
what
was,
he
back.
said.
I was like,
I was talking
motherfucker,
so
like, what
much
is up?
shit.
What is up with that hair, man?
I was
Like,
telling Ray, man, he should do that.
was he going for a fin look or some shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, then that's like,
The frosted fin.
Yeah.
That's the fucking thing Roland said when we were watching, and I was like, did he intentionally want to show his house? Like,
Yep,
is that
right.
what's
Well,
happening?
yeah, that's
How
another thing
awesome
too,
it
man. I
looks.
was like, how do I-
man,
yeah.
look at this fucking apartment.
That's what I'm
This
saying,
guy
like,
is
how
with that
the
wood stove there in the background, like up against this badass like L
yes.
bar kitchen.
That was the point I was gonna make. I was like, how do I get into the conspiracy theory game? Because apparently everybody who's in it has a fucking sweet ass
nice
house.
fucking
Bob
place,
Lazar's
dude.
house, like fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
Like this
Oh
guy's
man,
house.
yeah.
I was like,
Bob
what the hell's
Lazar's
going on,
house
dude?
is amazing. He's like in a fucking mansion or something for a
Yeah.
second, like with a lab he's working in. I thought that was in his basement or something. Like, does this guy work out of home?
You know, I
Holy
was
fuck.
kind of curious as to like, I was like, what kind of money does he
Holy
make with the
shit
job
nuts.
that he has?
Yeah,
Unless,
and
he gets to play around with beryllium.
Well, what does he?
Bastard.
What does he fucking do exactly? Because he.
me and Roland were
We
talking
didn't
about
really
that.
go into that.
We're
There.
saying
I'm sure we could
we're
look it
thinking
up.
that maybe he has like a
Like one
like
minute-
a supply company for like
Well,
chemistry
one
related
minute he's
items.
making one minute he's making fucking bottle rockets, and the other minute he's making beryllium. Like, what
Yeah,
the hell's
exactly.
that?
And then like another
going on
fucking
here?
clip, he's shooting an Uzi.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, yeah,
And then he
this
has
is
like
just
a-
great for
a rocket
protection.
bike.
Yeah.
What the fuck is
It's.
yeah.
I've always played with what is he? He's quoted with saying I've always played with fireworks since I was like 10
Yeah,
or 12
his
or
yeah, his
something.
mom
Like
said
in
that he made,
various
like,
in
a-
various forms. It's like you're like an artist.
Yeah,
Guys, let's just stop this podcast and start making rocket bikes and shit.
I guess
We're gonna make it. We're gonna have a badass house after that. Unless all the people in Nevada have a pretty sweet
Oh,
house
this
or
is the
something.
guy that he shot the Uzi with, right? Or something?
Speaking
Yeah.
of the rocket bikes or whatever, yeah, this is one of his neighbors that actually goes on here saying, yeah, he started that shit up in his garage. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Just
He just
Oh,
had
there it
he just
is.
had a fucking rocket dragster
yeah,
outside.
it's like, oh
his
yeah, I've seen those
porch.
before, and I think I've seen some too here and there, like at the drag races and shit over the years. I've been lucky, but like like a neighborhood,
Well, yeah,
sure,
I
man,
mean,
that's great.
Because I'm assuming he's using jet fuel and that, so I'm like, no wonder the feds are fucking look. I mean, that shit's like highly volatile. I,
I mean,
don't even know if can
tonight-
a regular citizen get that?
So there was like no, but they show you this, and then they go into the other bit about how he was like a very typical Bob,
Here's the scene.
starting a prostitution ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
that's
like that was
another thing, too.
another bit later, just like, oh, how he thought it was so funny, and like we called the cops on him, and he had to fess up, and then, like he still stuck to his guns
Yeah,
about like how he worked with
exactly.
alien technology, and
Yeah.
it was like if he was gonna say anything about any of this,
That
that
would
would
be
have been it. Like, really, guys,
No.
what the fuck?
I just want to see Bob Lazar in a fucking pimp outfit, man. Fucking the
Yeah.
robe and the hat, the cane and
Seeing he
shit.
Well,
have some like kind of like purple Boondock
Yeah.
Saints kind of like
Yeah, exactly.
stuff going on.
I feel like the people that come across and like start talking about aliens, if they got like some kind of high profile job, or they've made a lot of giving out some sensitive information. You got the Bob Lazar thing, which again was a surprise that he did this whole mini brothel is what they call it.
Yeah.
Mini problem.
He's like
Well,
a
wait,
mini,
it's-
like a mini pimp or something. Like,
Yeah, right.
It's funny, guys. Come on, like we're just making.
Well,
money,
this
you know?
guy, and there was another documentary I saw, probably like late last year. It was called Extraordinary. That's Stan Romanek.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
it came out 2013.
Okay.
I think it's still on Netflix right now. This guy
go for it.
shot a bunch of clips of like aliens at his fucking house. I'm talking like gray aliens like walking around and shit outside his house, peeking in and shit like that. Because apparently he had some kind of like weird knowledge or some shit like that.
Yes, dude.
That,
I-
but that guy at some point later on, like
Fessed up to all the bullshit.
no, he didn't
'Cause
he didn't fess up to anything. It's what he got like charged with like child pornography or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I was watching some video of him. And they were interviewing somebody was interviewing on YouTube or over Skype, and he was doing the whole thing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the pins were falling on him, but you could tell he was like,
Yeah,
obviously,
he was
like,
tossing it,
throwing
like-
him up. He's like, "Oh, you see that shit?" And it was like, "Yeah, I can see you fucking throwing the
the
pin
fuck?
up."
Like
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
it went from like
That sounds
talking about aliens and
fucking
UFO to
dopey.
like he's like just surrounded by paranormal activity
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
like everything's like floating around his
Oh,
room. So he's like
gosh.
throwing pins. Like, did you see where the pin came out of nowhere? And it's like you can tell he's like,
You're right,
he's
it
like throwing it
did.
up like that. Like,
But what's
oh,
great
From your
great
hand,
about
you
that documentary is that
douche.
they show all that shit though.
Yeah.
They show all him. They
I
show him like
forgot
talking about all that
he
kind of
got caught
crazy
with
shit.
the- I forgot he got caught.
But that was
with
just
the-
one specific guy in the whole like
Well, I think you tried to
overall
show me.
narrative or whatever.
Yeah, I think you tried to show me that.
There were real
the documentary.
Probably yeah. Well, it was on
victims or
Netflix. I
whatever.
don't know if it's still there. I mean, the other ones that I've seen came out last year. What is it? Unacknowledged and Patient 17. You ever seen those?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen my fair share because there's a lot of them on Netflix.
Yeah,
I've seen the
yeah.
one about the aliens on the moon.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like looking at all the moon structures, like, oh, that
Oh,
obviously looks like a
man.
satellite dish. And all
Right.
that. And it's like,
Like 100,000-year-old
What is
space
that?
station.
You go. We zoom in. It
the
says
formation.
Direct TV.
yeah.
But as overall, like, what do y'all think of like Bob Lazar as far as like the way he's
Like throughout this thing,
personified in this?
he
thing?
seems like a pretty intense guy. From like how they interviewed him through all of this, he pretty much never change his tempo through the whole thing. He was just
Yeah.
kind of spitting out all these facts. Like,
Yeah.
it's been 30 years, bitch.
But you know, like any
Hey.
interview I've seen him in, like he's pretty much exactly the same. Like he doesn't really change his story much. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Very defensive. I feel like because for all the
Just
for
used
all
to
the yeah.
Maybe.
You know what's
Well-
funny is that like we see his house and he has his wife and like pretty sweet house.
wife.
I don't think he has any kids or anything, but like I know there was a point where they
got a
tried to do
wife.
like an interview
He's got those
with
hybrid kids.
him. Yeah, hybrid kids. He's got a sweet juicer.
He's a Corona man apparently.
Yeah, that is a nice kitchen too.
He's really, like,
Look at all
making-
that.
Oh,
It's
shit,
got
it's
fully
got a-
stocked fridge.
It's got a
some Stella Artois
Fridge that's close by itself.
in there. Fancy. Man.
I was wondering
Fancy.
about
He
that clip
survived. He's,
where I was like, what was
It's a
big
the
fucking
what was the
goldfish.
point of
yeah, it's looks
closing the
pretty well
fridge or
fed.
showing what's in his fridge? Like it's like
Hey, he's an
fully
ordinary
sto-
guy.
it's
What,
fully
exactly.
stocked.
What necessarily does it have to fucking do with anything? Like the fridge and the, like, oh yes, they're doing stuff in the kitchen.
know,
but
they,
like,
like,
boom, boom,
had
here's the
mentioned
fridge.
That's
the-
a huge
the
fucking
fridge closing.
goldfish, and he overfeeds
Yeah, it
his
is.
cat.
Look
way
at
too
that
much.
fat fucking cat too, man.
He
No,
overfeeds his cat?
they look happy. Oh yeah, look at
we
that.
need to call like animal
As
services.
he
'cause
loads up
this
from
is
the
abuse.
he loads up the Q rig,
Yeah.
the co rig.
Yeah, they kept showing the fish a lot too, and this
Yeah, but
was like,
look at-
what are they
yeah,
trying to
look at-
imply with
look
that?
at
Like,
that-
it's
that
like
sweet-ass
he's
kitchen
got
he's
a
got, dude.
Nice goddamn house, man. Like
Yeah, the fucking island's like huge.
he deserves it. He deserves it. It's all well worked. Well worked.
You know, it's funny is that like
Well, that's anyway. Well,
you know what? No,
life.
fuck this. Let's take a detour on this podcast and talk about his house.
Yeah, man.
because that shit is really nice.
yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous,
it was
man.
just
But
stocked
that's
full
what I'm
of
saying. Like, they don't
everything.
even
Look at
fucking
that.
tell you what he does.
What he
Okay, they
does,
say he's a
he-
lab supplier. What the fuck does that mean? So it's like,
Like nothing,
I don't know, man.
and then there's the outside of the place in this sort of podunky looking little town
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it looks so
right.
quiet and like
yeah,
comfortable,
and
but
yet there's like a nuclear like science thing going
almost
on here.
almost it's like slightly abandoned.
Yeah.
Where you get that sense of maybe there are people living here.
yeah.
But it almost made him seem like if they don't have any business for that particular day, they just like play around with the shit that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that already
yeah.
like sounds like suspicious to any government official that's probably listening in on the phones and shit. They're like, did he just say they're gonna build a rocket in the middle of town or something? He's like,
Right in the
yeah,
middle
for
of the
fun, you know.
street,
Yeah.
Like this community, we share. We should. It's,
Oh, this thing we're talking
this
about
was a
the
cool
Tom.
little bit that I will go for, where he talks about that old school OG chemistry set from hell that includes that. I don't know what
Actual
kind of like
radioactive material.
yeah, what kind of uranium or whatever the hell they could have given him, but he does mention, and it was nice to hear, or funny enough to hear, like that one noter about, yeah, everybody was scared of that stupid thing, but it really wasn't bad for you. Like it was just,
Yeah.
and so the little I understand about that is that it wasn't a sample of uranium that actually mattered. Like it wasn't really like anywhere near close. Like it was background radiation kind of levels of stuff you'd need to worry about, which really it's nothing. It was just very cool because
Yeah.
they were the only one that ran with it.
Do y'all buy the fact, or are convinced by the fact that
And
his
it
own
went
his
down
own-
in infamy. That was
his
the end of
his
that
only
crap.
reason for doing this is the fact that there is technology and like a certain science that is not well known or I guess
I can
documented.
understand that, and I can kind of respect it because he's outraged or whatever by the fact that same fact. Like, oh man, we have this access to this really cool shit, and you assholes are fucking keeping it to yourself. Like, really, all the shit we
I mean,
see
like
on
they
TV
talk
or
about like
whatever, that
the
would be
alien,
pretty nifty or whatever.
the alien civilizations. He's
We
like,
could
yeah,
do
that's
now.
kind of like almost like implied already. Like we get it. There's civilization out there, but
Yeah.
He took it for granted.
the government is suppressing like certain technologies that could help
That's
civilization
what-
or something. Is help
Like
the earth. You
completely
know?
send us out across the
Well, that
universe.
was to me basically the whole focus of this documentary. Anyways, it wasn't really necessarily the fact that there's aliens. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's implied. That's all he really ever talked about in the whole show was just or on the documentary.
that
was
like
just
we
about
were cheated, being cheated as a
yeah.
Yeah, but like there's also that focus that he
Society.
seems to like that the reason he gets like upset about them. They keep bringing up the fact that they can't prove that he.
No,
like,
because
went to the
he,
schools
of all
or like
things,
That was
he
what
was
was
employed by those
interesting,
like
too.
that
something
was
is, he's
just
the
really
only
annoying.
guy. He's the only guy that's ever done any of this, apparently or supposedly,
Yeah.
with all this. Like
Well,
all of this information,
the only
all
guy
this
that's come
ridiculous
forward-
potential, and
The only guy that's
this
come forward.
guy is the one that's
Yeah.
done it. And
Well, I
what
mean,
the fuck else? Like, really? What are the odds necessarily?
Well, that's another thing that he.
That's
it,
what
it
throws
seems
me.
they do mention in
the
the
one out of a
documentary
million guy
is
that's
that-
like, fuck you all.
Yeah.
Well,
Let
I
me
mean,
let me talk about this.
well,
or whatever.
they mentioned the fact that like he knows he's not the best qualified person for that particular job.
He seems pretty kooky all his own. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the guy just talking to him alone. He seems pretty intelligent or fairly intelligent. And if like we were to believe like the little clips of the things that he's done over the years and or like hearsay from other folks are to be believed, it seems. Well, it seems kind of ridiculous on his own with this guy. And if he's on the low end or whatever of the kind of crap that they are still or whatever say dealing with or working around today, that's kind of fucked up. Not quite so much.
Well, what do you think they would have that could really change, like Earth in general? I mean,
Past that, there really isn't anything that springs to mind
well, you
necessarily.
could say they
'cause,
could easily
like being able to use
travel
like, the things
through time,
that he's
travel
described
through space
exactly.
and time and shit like that, and bend space and time to travel to other fucking galaxies
Yeah.
and shit. And if we have that technology now, like,
There are so many problems you could solve. Yeah.
got flying cars.
Yeah.
Like, guys, we go Back to the Future 2. That's what we want right
Fuck
now.
that. It would Back to the Future 7. Are you kidding me? People would start shitting out these horrible, like, it would be bought up instantly. Like, old prices for things would be nothing. It'd just be like renting the rights or whatever, like you rent a video.
You know, like whenever
It'd be so
there's
way
ever like a
ahead
full
this shit.
disclosure moment in our lifetime,
Like
like
Blade
everyone's just
Runner
gonna
2
want that
million.
fucking hoverboard, you know?
Yeah. I mean, fuck. I just finished seeing one of those damn walking fucking fire threats or whatever at JCPenney the other day. Like, really?
JCPenney
They're
has
still-
hoverboards?
They're still doing this shit? Like, this one comes with speakers.
Probably the only one that can sell them now.
I don't know. I saw it down there. I was messing around looking at random crap. And I'm like, hey, drones. Hey, what? You're still around? Nah. Just trying to
Yeah.
picture somebody trying to, like, base out to this crap and,
Yeah.
and not catching themselves on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can say about the situation because I mean, like,
There he is again with this badass.
Yeah, we're talking about
apartment,
the
man. That
director.
motherfucker,
Yeah.
dude. Look at that. It's amazing.
badass fucking house.
Hate
Yeah,
you, dude.
man.
Hate you, dude.
This is no longer a podcast about the Bob Lazar documentary.
No,
about
this is about the fucking director of the documentary or whatever and his badass pad.
the houses that these people have that we don't really know what they do with their jobs.
Yeah.
Like,
But they are doing great. Keep it up, man.
you know, how much money do you get?
How
How much money do you get? Like,
I'm not
in the
jealous, I'm
conspiracy game,
envious.
man?
Well, yeah, because
something to look forward to.
I get that obviously the filmmaker, he does documentary. I don't know what's his name. The guy. You know?
The director's name is Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell.
Good God, man.
Let me.
the thing-
Can I
need so
see how
many
you wrote
names,
that
but
down?
first-
That is some very like
Yeah.
bizarre, impressive title. maybe?
Yeah, I feel like two of
It's
those
over there
names
on the
are
right,
two of those
the
names,
left side.
Two of those names are self-given. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah. So let's go with Jeremy.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
what else has he done? You said he did a short.
He's done like a bunch of like documentaries like this.
Well, he's done more documentaries.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so then I guess we need to start making fucking documentaries about conspiracy theories and shit because damn man, look at this guy's fucking apartment.
Right.
What the hell?
That's.
that ain't, that's not an apartment, Bryce. That's a house.
Well, yeah, that's true. You know what? But
And they got that fucking rustic look going.
yeah,
too. It's all
everyone's got
nice
the
and
rest of
shit.
yeah.
That guy's got his mansion going on.
Is that a huge telescope in the back of his fucking?
Yeah.
You need
house?
space for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of space to breathe.
He's got his own observatory.
Set it
So.
Oh boy.
No, I had a quick question about why the government may have set up in Nevada, right? That's where they're at? Nevada, Area 51?
Yeah,
I mean, I just thought it was because it was remote, you know?
S4,
There's nothing
S4
there,
plebe.
kind of thing.
Where's
fucking desert.
I wasn't
Great
too sure
desert.
about this, but I kind of brought to mind what was the biggest meth state in the United States? Is it
I
New
think it's
Mexico?
New Mexico.
Was it?
I just came from there in the summer. And
You know
I was in
that
Roswell.
Do you know that Nevada has like the highest deaths of meth use?
Well, maybe it's Nevada.
No, I think it's New Mexico, but the thing is, like, I feel like meth has made its way more to like Nevada stuff because I mean, right now the statistic is that
popular.
like it's got the highest rate of meth-related deaths in the United States.
And you're thinking that's all government caused, or what?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
I'm thinking that's
Oh,
all
okay.
government
It's like the
conspiracy.
whole-
shit.
it's
They're
like
still doing that or
like
whatever.
the crack thing or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
like
exactly.
you
It's a
get them all
continuation.
methed out, and then when they're flying their
The
fucking shit
evolution.
around, like they're like, oh, that's just related to the meth that I'm using right now.
Just grind up some meth on them. They'll be good.
Yeah.
You don't need to sprinkle
Oh,
crack.
this thing about the hand
All
scanners.
the kids these days. Oh. When she's looking at
Yeah,
pictures of
I
that
don't
like old school
know.
70s tech that they're using.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, oh, I never
It
thought I'd
seems
see one
somewhat.
of these
Yeah, he
again.
seems somewhat passable there. Like, it's really hard to gauge
This
like
is
this
what-
guy's range or whatever. For the most part, he does seem kind of like annoyed and bitter or smart alecky about the whole thing.
Well, see,
So
Well,
maybe
if I was
it's
the-
either a yes or no as far as how he thinks.
Yeah.
That.
well, because he's talking about the hand scanner, and you know, I guess at the time no one had that technology. Of course, now it's pretty commonplace, I suppose, like fingerprint.
Right,
Why-
yeah,
why-
for the fingerprints, but they do describe it as like a little.
Well, maybe
little
not.
wonky
Yeah,
to
because
that.
it says that
the
it
measuring
measures the bones or something like
exactly,
that.
in your
which I mean,
fingers.
it's not that. I
It-
think
it
now it's
isn't.
pretty. We could do it,
But it seems kind of superfluous or sort of silly.
But if you're thinking like in
Well,
the 80s, when we
fingerprints.
started talking about it, like
Huh?
in the 80s, when we was
70s.
talking about it.
no, what I'm trying to say is if I
Well, like-
okay, like he hands him this
Right.
he hands him this fucking photo. Okay, like I want to be the skeptic here, guys. Right? I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
like so he hands him this fucking photo. He's like, oh yeah, I never thought
This
I'd
looks
see one of these.
great.
I never
Yeah,
thought I'd see
exactly.
one of these again. He should
Sure,
he
buddy.
should have handed him a photo of something completely fucking ridiculous and see if he's like, oh
Just
yeah,
to fuck
like,
with
this
him,
is what it
you
is.
think?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should have done that.
I don't know, man. I mean,
That
Well,
would have been
well,
interesting,
well,
all the same.
let me-
but
let me-
also very assholish of
let
the
me-
dude.
let me say
I
this,
know.
it
Why
would-
not?
it would
But
even-
yes,
it would be
but,
very good.
I
It
mean,
would
what
be
are we-
very good.
Look at this. Man, you just put together a
Just
fucking
zipping around.
motorcycle.
Yeah, a lot of
shit.
this stuff was just really dopey. I skipped through this
Fucking
garbage.
got a rocket on
You know,
a
if-
motorcycle.
If he would have done that to him,
I don't think that rocket even has enough power to fucking
No,
do. He just has it on there
it
being
just
an
looks
asshole
cool.
and shit. Yeah. Yeah, look at him.
there it
He's
is.
fucking peddling it, man. Nah, that's just to be like, oh, look at me. I got a fucking
Because
rocket.
it looks
on
cool.
that.
He likes fireworks.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
just a Roman candle he stuck
That's
up
funny, dude.
on the ass of that bike.
Yeah, it's got like a fucking kerosene burner. I don't think it's. Yeah,
It looks cool.
yeah
Spent all that time painting it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this guy.
Back to the
Yeah.
the OG, the
the
original
serious
stuff.
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go back to serious shit.
Pay
yeah.
attention, guys. We're in 1989 again.
you know, you see, like
Well,
you
the
see
guy's
him
obviously
like.
smart. Like he knows a lot about technology and
Sure.
all that.
Well, I mean, like they've said like he just likes to like build shit. You know,
I haven't necessarily seen anything besides that bit of, if we were going to say that like he's full of shit or whatever, looking at those pictures that suggests that actually he is or isn't convincing on
Yeah.
all of this garbage.
yeah. What was that picture right there? He was in front of the chalkboard. Was that like him supposed to be at MIT or where did he say he graduated from?
he
Caltech.
graduated from Caltech and he went to MIT and stuff like that, and was employed at Los Alamos.
Well, see, that was another thing I thought was interesting because they did actually have him on the roster. Or something.
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
found,
The,
they found his name on there somewhere.
The telephone listing.
Yeah, there you
he
go.
was
And then they
there.
would call. They said that they had no record of him.
Had no record.
Yet he's on the
EG&G
Yeah. So that was kind of
was the
interesting.
company, but
Yeah,
he
what is
stuck
it?
with
EGG
it the whole
or
time.
something?
There we
Oh,
go.
there it is.
Man,
EGG.
that's a super government looking logo.
Yeah.
That's just great stuff. Oh yeah, no.
But that's
never heard of the
the
bitch.
one thing he like
they can-
seems
they're
to
the-
get pissed
they'd be
off
the
that
one
they
people-
focus on.
Something
You
out of
know?
Half-Life 2.
They would be the one organization or whatever that could, I guess, legally or technically get away with that sort of thing. Oh yeah, no, he fucking doesn't work here. Piss off.
Yeah. We said that's where you got to go to get a job at those places. Well, what I want to know is, okay, they can't. Not everybody that works there has got to
like-
be like a fucking mega mind scientist. So can I just go to EG&G and be like, look, I want to be the janitor at fucking Area 51. Is that cool, man? Like,
I'll let you in.
yeah,
Maybe.
They go, we have record that you saw this Bob Lazar documentary.
yeah.
Bullshit.
No.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
You know, but my record's immaculate. I just
Yeah.
happened to be on Prime and it came on and I just watched it. We have your Prime account too. And we saw some shit that you were watching.
I mean,
We're watching with you.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yo, what is it? Bikini Babes from Beyond?
That's right.
Barbarella.
Emmanuel in space.
Nice.
Yes.
So overall, like, what do y'all think of like Bob Lazar? Do y'all believe what he's saying? I personally do, but it's because I have years of like listening to this fucking guy, and he seems like he's on the level, even though like he's been discredited.
I might not
Pretty much
have
through
if
his
I
whole
hadn't
life, you know?
if they hadn't been showing us that old footage or whatever of him back in the 80s talking about this stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
On its own, like I could have said like maybe I wouldn't have believed maybe I don't know 35 or so % of the stuff he said without those clips. So now, I mean, if I was to guess, like going on what maybe he doesn't understand as far as all the crap that he's even trying to explain, that I could probably go with him as far as I don't know, 92 or so % like believability.
Yeah.
Well, then he's also a pimp, so
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah, you gotta have that wild card percentage left over in there. 8% of.
What about you, Bryce?
What the hell is he
What do you
gonna
think
do
of
next?
Mr. Lazar?
Mr. Lazar. I want to believe him, you know. I mean, he's got a lot of interesting things to say. Obviously, there's a few, I guess, holes in his whole story, but I don't really see what he would get out of it to lie. You know,
Pretty emphatic about that.
Yeah.
Throughout at one point,
Yeah.
it's like
I mean,
this
they did the
sounds
whole-
too stupid. If I wanted to lie about it, I can make up something way more better.
Yeah, and you know, of course, they did the whole polygraph, which those things aren't 100%, but
No, but they're pretty convincing.
yeah.
Or-
So I
or
mean,
they-
he passed that.
Well, they did
Easily,
that same thing with those
as it
guys
turned
from the Travis Walton case,
Yeah.
where they put them all through a polygraph and they all passed and shit.
Yeah.
Except one was inconclusive, but because there was the wild card guy
Yeah.
was not like very cooperative or something.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's usually like kind of where they go to, like whenever like someone's talking about this alien shit. They break out the polygraph because like at some point you can't really prove what they're
I had to
saying.
use some science,
You
in there
know,
to make it work.
Well, you can't prove what they're saying, and you can't really disprove it. So,
Well, we
like,
can
what's the only thing we can kind of just like gauge their
there are methods to like suggest.
emotional response whenever they're giving us
certain things.
an answer. You know,
Yeah.
And he even at one point did that, which I thought was kind of interesting. He did the hypnotic
He did the regression. Not regression, but
hypnotic suggestion regression or whatever. I forgot what the hell it goes.
well,
with.
see, they didn't. I mean, I feel like they kind of brushed over that, but I
They
feel like
did,
maybe
but
they
it's
didn't
still
get too much
there.
out of it. You know, like
well,
Maybe not, but I was just going in through things as far as like the guys tried over the years that
yeah.
where he seems himself to take it somewhat
That's
seriously.
true. Yeah, he did go to.
That he's going to go out of his way to even bother with something like that.
Yeah, because he tried to seek that guy out to learn, to get the knowledge that he.
I can
guess
only
was
imagine
locked
it was
away.
not fun or whatever
Yeah.
to sit through that kind of garbage.
Yeah. So
do
yeah,
you
I
believe
kind
or
of in
not?
the same area as Roland. I'm like, you know, some of the things I do agree. I believe him about, and other things I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can.
They made the footage compelling enough, and
Yeah.
as far as like the stuff he picked up and he gathered or whatever to show us in this documentary,
Yeah.
for what Bob Lazar has experienced or I attempted or whatever throughout this this whole situation.
Yeah.
y'all have anything more to add about this documentary? I mean, because this is pretty straightforward. I mean, this is not like
I
it's
was
not
kind
like
of surprised.
It's
I
not
was
like a
expecting
story
more
of
Shyamalan twists or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
You wanted Shyamalan
right.
I
twist,
didn't
really?
get none of that. No, yeah, I was just like expecting something simple. Or
They're gonna get a
silly, but it
close up
really
of Bob
wasn't.
Lazar, and you're gonna see the eyes go.
He's
It's a fucking
Black.
reptilian.
He's
Men in
pretty
Black
honest
style
about
shit.
it from the whole get go. It's like, yeah, this hasn't made my life better at all. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, let's just go. Like, more questions. Keep going. Like,
Yeah.
sober too. I would have at least been there with a beer, kind of thing. Like, okay, like if you're gonna make me do all this garbage, like, what do I get out of it? A steak dinner? Sure.
Right.
All right. Like,
Nah,
just-
he has like heroin or something.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. This hasn't made my life better.
I
Like
need the
smoking
good
a
shit.
cigar and like eating a steak and like fucking like.
right. Like,
Drink some
make it worth my
champagne.
time. It's like I'm
He's
not.
like, and he's
you-
like, no, bitch, give me my fucking.
You go. You think this money was from like doing like lab supplies?
Yeah.
No, this is from pimping, bitch.
Yeah.
like anything you could think of for him to mention there. He's like, I don't make money off of this shit.
Yeah.
You go, guys. This isn't really my wife. It's my bottom bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess overall as a documentary, like, what y'all think? I mean, I personally enjoyed it.
What do you want to scale it?
I'm gonna give it like about
Out
a
of
6 out of 10, a 6.5 out of 10. It's not the best documentary. I mean, you got the Mickey Rourke doing his fucking.
that was just a big minded.
voice in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that your fault, Ray?
That is my fault. Yeah. Hold up.
No, it wasn't. There we go.
There we go. It's my cord.
There we go. So let's just backtrack to it.
Talking about space and
Trying to sound sexy and failing miserably, but I really respect him and awesome, and he's so cool. But this is not good.
There was a couple of times I was fucking John Goodman. Actually, it sounded a little bit like John Goodman.
Oh, really?
To me, it sounded like John Goodman a little bit. I couldn't tell. I was like, "Is it Mickey Rourke?"
Maybe he stepped back.
Yeah, I don't know.
he just backed off the mic a little
Yeah.
bit.
It sounds like
Well, I saw a clip of them doing like the
sounds
like a little bit of the narration.
Yeah.
And the
Connors.
director is like giving him guidance on like how to say it, and he's like this with his thumb. He's like, say it rude like that, okay. And he just gets right on the fucking mic, like, and he starts
You saw
talking.
some behind the scenes video. Of Mickey
Yeah,
Rourke?
yeah.
Start gyrating.
That's funny, man.
He's like, you say it like this, okay, and then he starts like going into
Like you want to speak to a woman.
like he's right on the fucking mic, dude. It's funny.
Jeez.
But I mean, I give it, like I said, a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, it's not the best documentary, but I mean, most alien, UFO, Area 51 related documentaries aren't exactly the best. But as far as production wise, this is probably the better one I've seen.
Oh, so you want to give it an overall and a production score, or whatever there?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's just my opinion. I felt like production wise, it's pretty good.
It's very, very good.
But as an overall documentary, I mean, I give it a 6.5 because, like I said, these documentaries are kind of iffy. You're kind of just going in. You have to kind of just take it as face value of whatever they're saying.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Probably like a 6 or maybe. I'll tell you what. I'll give it a 7 out of the entertainment value. It was pretty well put together, but I don't feel like I didn't learn anything from it. Like, it's like he just kept going back to old interviews. It's like,
so
what is
that's kind of related to what Ray there,
I'll say
as
that
far as taking
because-
things at face value.
Yeah.
Like, how would you have expected that to be like more convincing than necessarily? Like, did they need to include more references or something like that, or like talk to more people?
They would have to
or-
Well, I guess they're-
delve more deep into the fact
Show,
of whatever they're asking him, like the element 151 or
They
158.
didn't really. It didn't really seem to go into a whole lot of records or any like previous archives of things. Like he just only. Am I wrong there necessarily in thinking that he sort of just barely touched on a lot of these?
Yeah.
Like,
well, but that's what I'm saying. I go,
connecting.
I feel like
Well,
this,
a lot of the stuff he was like, they would go back to the 1980 interviews or whatever. He's just saying
Right.
a lot of the same stuff he's saying now. It's like, does
what's
he have,
changed,
I'd
or
like to
what,
see-
what else has the guy done to like corroborate any of this?
Yeah, or does he have any other does he have any new viewpoints about the whole experience?
He's still
He
the
just
God,
says
one,
he's probably like
the one guy, and 30 years later, and
I
no
think-
one else has cracked or come
I think
forward
that
with
this
anything.
documentary
to
is
this.
just.
Besides the pictures he showed him or whatever from like the
Yeah.
scanning machine and
I think this documentary is just like
the fact
another
that like
intro-
UFO stuff is pop culture garbage.
like
now.
an intro to Bob Lazar for people who don't know who Bob Lazar is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not much like new information.
That's a pretty good way to look
Personally,
at it.
I say it. I didn't learn anything new from this because I mean I've watched documentaries or I
Right.
watched like interviews with Bob Lazar over the years and heard him on radio shows and shit, and nothing has really changed. But I think this is just a good intro.
So I mean,
documentary
not
for people who
knowing
don't know
anything
anything about
going
Bob
into
Lazar.
this, yeah, like it would seem like a good intro to just Bob Lazar,
Yeah.
and like everything else as for like a primer to UFO exposure in any way.
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of thing.
someone who's not too familiar with like even
This would probably be a good
how-
thing to get you started.
how Area
get you-
51 or
get you going.
how this was exposed. Like this is a good jumping
Work
off
those
point
Are
to
You
like
Out There juices.
delve into other things.
Now, let me ask you this: was Bob Lazar before? I forgot his name. The guy who wrote Beyond Pale Horse. What's his name?
Bill Cooper.
Yeah, did Bill Cooper come out before Bob Lazar, or did Bob Lazar come out before Bill Cooper? That's all I'm interested to know.
You know, I don't know what year was Behold the Pale Horse.
I'm not sure. That's why I thought you would know because you're the expert on these things. man.
Well, I'm not
right.
too familiar on the years, but I think they came out
Fail.
roughly around the same era.
Mr.
Because this is like he was doing this stuff like early 80s,
Yeah.
and I think Bill Cooper started doing his radio show around that time, and maybe wrote his book around that time. And he's like collecting all the information.
Yeah.
But
So yes and no.
as far as the relation to Bill Cooper and Bob Lazar, I mean, I think they're around the same time.
Okay.
Oh,
But if you want to
so
double check on the facts on that, be my guest.
take a quick minute,
Uh,
short minutes.
according to this, it was published in 1991. So obviously, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Probably
Then,
after.
well,
Not
Bob
very
Lazar
long
came
after.
out in 1989 with this shit. So,
Yeah,
but that's not to say that Bill Cooper.
Yeah.
Around
Bill
the
Cooper
same
had his own
time.
fucking thing going on. That guy was like deep into some other kind of shit. I mean, he got firsthand account by like this guy, but I mean, Bill Cooper was like a military guy. He wasn't like a scientist or anything.
That's true. Yeah.
So Bill Cooper came at it from an actual
on the ground kind of person.
yeah
or
on the ground kind of
viewpoint.
guy. But I mean, this guy came at it from like almost like the theoretical, but actually working on actual aircrafts and stuff like that. Seeing the bodies. Bill Cooper just read all this shit. He just read the documentation and then tried to
Yeah.
expose it in Behold the Pale
Oh,
Horse.
okay.
Like there was never a point in time where he actually, from my
Experienced
recollection,
anything?
saw any of these.
Oh, then
things.
that's
Okay.
right.
Like
so
Bob
that's
Lazar
completely
actually
different
was their first-hand account of seeing these things, but Bill Cooper got like his hands on some top secret classified documentations that he decided to expose.
then. Okay.
And of course, being in the military and stuff, and just having his own like views, like I guess very conservative views, but kind of liberal at the same time.
Yeah.
Libertarian. Ew.
But guess who's dead? Bill Cooper,
Yeah,
not Bob
that's
Lazar.
right. That's right. It's because Bob Lazar got that
Survived.
sweet Uzi on him, man.
Got that sweetie.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Bill Cooper just had like a fucking sidearm,
That's right,
Yeah.
man.
and that's why they were able to take him down in his front fucking doorstep.
Well, he doesn't. Well, Bob Lazar lives in Nevada, I'm assuming, right?
I don't know if it's Nevada or like Michigan. I'm not too sure where
Well,
it
the
is.
scene where he's shooting that gun or the Uzi
Oh,
or whatever.
that was
Because
Nevada.
in Nevada, like I think it's very easy to get like those type of weapons and shit. Like they're very lax on a lot of things. in Nevada,
Uzis,
so,
meth.
There's nothing there but the fucking desert. You go out
That's
there to
right.
die, or like you maybe make it back if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. If you don't, oh well. Peace.
Roland, did you give us a rating on yours?
Oh, I'd give it a solid 5.
Solid, halfway down the middle.
Yeah, because I mean, it's about even about what I liked and what I didn't like, and so we pretty much went through all of that. I think Bob Lazar is an interesting character, and like the story he talks about is compelling enough. But I do have a few little hang-ups with I guess the production crew or how this thing was directed. It was very good, actually. I'll give them all of that, but it could have been slightly only a little less.
Let's be real. It was Mickey Rourke that did it for you.
Dopey. That was one of the main things, but like for them, for how they approached this, it just seemed like there were just a few little bits and pieces, but it was overall I still liked it a lot.
It was pretty impressive that they got Mickey Rourke. 'Cause I wonder how much. I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
shit to do that, or maybe he's just a huge like Bob Lazar fan.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about Bob Lazar? Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Am I gonna get to meet Bob Lazar?
He's like, he didn't like the movies you've come out in.
Yeah.
No.
He was like, he thought 9.5 weeks was pornographic.
After Angel Heart, no man.
Angel Heart,
Yeah.
9.5 weeks.
That's right.
Shit, it was too much for him.
Shit.
He's tired of you fucking all these
Wasn't
like,
he in
hot
one of the
bitches
Crow
on-
movies?
on TV.
Wasn't he in one of the fucking Crow movies? I'm trying to
Mickey
remember.
Rourke?
No.
Bob Lazar?
Bob Lazar, right? I think he was, man. I think he was.
I'm trying to remember where he played a tattoo artist, and then like at one point he was like painting something on a guitar or whatever during the scene, and I wanted to see
The
it was
wrestler?
Crow. No. Which I never got around to, but yeah,
never
I
seen
know
that
it's out
either.
there. Ball sacks. What is it? It's not Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That's dumb. Yeah. He was a. I want to say. I feel like it was one of the crappier Crow movies that.
I don't.
He was around.
Maybe the
so,
third
man.
one.
Yeah, it would have to be the second or the
Are you,
third.
are you trying to tell me that Mickey Rourke came out in a Crow movie? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man.
We're about to
I don't
find out
either.
right
I
now,
don't
but,
either. I might be thinking of something
I
else.
thought you said
but
Tanya Harding, and I was like, what?
No.
The she came out in the 5th Crow movie.
She was the Crow.
Yeah. Oh, I'd watch that.
Ew.
Better than the TV series.
Well, Bryce, did you have anything to add?
No, I
As
mean,
you're
that's-
searching up those Mickey Rourke factoids.
Wow, I mean, I'm just trying to find. He was in Spun. I don't remember that.
Yes.
Yeah,
He was the dealer. He was the.
Yeah.
I mean, not the dealer. He was the cook.
Yeah.
Meth cook. it ended with him like pulling himself into his little like RV and trying to start it up.
Didn't it like explode or something?
Yeah, exactly. It just fucking blew up. In
Spoiler
the end.
alert, everyone who hasn't
Boom.
seen Spun, you know.
But if you haven't either way, it's a fucked up movie. So just have at it.
Don't
I
watch it on
guess.
Prime. You'll get censored shit.
Man, then what's the point? The whole bit with that movie is that it's just all kinds of ridiculous.
Well,
And nothing, dude, about Rourke and
The Crow?
yeah.
Nah, I don't think I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the main villain in the first one. He's very similar to Mickey Rourke, but
well,
no, I don't think that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't him.
I don't know, man. No, not in the first or the other ones. It was like he had a bit role, just doing his dumb thing or whatever as a wannabe tattoo artist that actually doesn't perform in anyone. He's painting as an artist in the tattoo parlor on a guitar.
Oh,
And
that sounds horrible.
It was,
That sounds
and he had that Iron Man 2 hair, I think, or whatever going on. With Whiplash was like combed back and graying, but still sort of manly, but not pretty. Like, what? No, just keep going. I know you're just doing this to make money. It's good, man.
okay, I guess we can put an end to this episode.
Well, I guess I have one question for
Oh, go ahead,
everybody. Have any of y'all seen a UFO before?
No, I haven't.
Nope, not yet.
No.
It's possible. Who knows?
Have you, Bryce?
I don't know what it was. I did see something one time, but I don't know if it was a UFO. It could have just been. It could
Do you
have been
want,
anything.
real
It was
quick,
just
do you want me to put like some dramatic music underneath? it?
Nah,
I'm gonna
okay,
do it.
man.
I'm gonna
You can do that.
One time. Hold on. Start your story. Go.
One time when I was I guess a teenager, I was out there, and when I used to live in La Feria, it was out in the country. You know how they have those big radio towers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's one pretty close to our house, and I was just walking in the backyard, and I saw this white thing next to it. At first, I thought it was like maybe some scaffolding or something, but it was pretty high up, and I was like, oh, it's like somebody working on it. But like I looked back, and it was like gone like that. And it was like this kind of almost like cigar, not cigar shape. I don't know how to explain it. It was like,
Saucer
dude,
shape.
yeah. Well, it's not. That's why I don't want to say like
Exactly.
to me, it was a UFO, but I'm not gonna say it was like. It could have just been
Alien,
something I didn't understand what it
yeah.
was, and then fucking.
It was
that's the only experience I've ever had.
unidentified to you.
Yeah, it was unidentified to me, but I'm not gonna say it was an alien. It was probably just like
Just
some guy
some
up there
weird
felt
shit.
like he fell to his death or some
Somebody
shit.
with a flashlight.
It was just a ghost. It wasn't
Yeah.
really an
No, this
alien.
was in broad daylight though. So
Oh yeah. Okay. Even
but,
better.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never seen anything. Have y'all ever had any relatives that have seen anything?
I have
No,
people who
not
have
me.
mentioned that they've
That I'm
said this,
aware
but I
of.
mean, I would not like want to repeat their story because I feel like I wouldn't give it any justice. I feel like they should, at some point, I'll get them on to tell their
I
own
would
story.
have to agree, Ray. You would probably fuck it up somehow.
Well, right now, yeah.
Oh, right,
what is
with
this
with your-
post disclaimer after the fact?
Right.
What do you call that? Post-claimer?
Yeah,
Ray
post-claimer.
is like he sounds
Yeah,
like
currently, my allergies have been
some
acting
kind of
up.
bog monster with his inflated
Yeah.
sinuses.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He
I
just
blame
walked
Roland in his
outside
fucking
and
house.
Walked outside to breathe some fresh air and just choked.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on? Bryce has a theory that it's the nearby
Yes.
Whataburger with their 100% beef patties.
Oh man, yeah.
All that smoke coming
that
out.
Wonderful, wonderful
Slowly trying to
scenting
poison
is
Ray,
just
man.
exactly. It's
Well,
making
actually,
him sick.
there was a news article recently that more and more people are becoming allergic to meat. So
Really?
Ray,
That's what's going on.
You're the first to go.
You know what? I'm gonna go try double meat right now to see if
Yeah.
I can prove that theory wrong, Bryce.
Well, give me some fries.
Roland, you got like a steak. I'm gonna slap him in the face with it. See if it's like welts and shit. On it.
Just make sure you turn him on his side or whatever so that he doesn't drown when he vomits into himself.
Yeah, so I apologize if you keep hearing a sneeze and you hear like sniffle. That
There we
shit,
go.
you know.
Yeah, it's
My
just
allergies are
Ray
acting
breathing.
up. Yeah, it's just me breathing.
It's
right
his
now.
body being absolutely natural.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing is that this episode is not like the ones that we've done so far. This is a movie that just came out this month, and
Yeah, we're
I
on
was
the- we're at the-
anticipating it after I saw
the
my
top of the
email
curve.
from MUFON.
Which is
Yeah.
definitely not something any of
You
us are
signed
ever
up?
going to bother with.
I didn't sign up. I get the newsletter.
Oh,
The Mutual UFO Network.
Yeah.
Right?
damn, Ray, you gotta pay $289 to get that sweet.
Yeah, I know,
year.
I saw
Per
that.
year?
No, it's actually.
Oh,
I
fuck.
don't know. I
was-
think it's like a lifetime thing,
I
no?
don't think
Oh,
so, dude.
wow.
Actually, you know what? I believe you're right. It is because it's like the VIP is like so much a month, and then you can just pay the 200 and
Save
something.
up. Everybody pitch in. for
birthday
Ray's
present to
MUFON-
become a MUFON member.
MUFON
Well, actually, Ray,
membership for
I was gonna be
lifetime.
honest with you, man.
The true lovers out in Brazil,
Yeah.
wherever it is. That
We'll mention that at the very end.
Oh, you want MUFON to be a Patreon member, maybe? Sponsor your membership. And everything?
Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, whenever we start a Patreon, all you patrons out there, if you would like to
Buddy.
contribute to my monthly MUFON
Get
membership.
Ray into that MUFON membership, man. He needs that
And
lanyard.
he will share it with,
Yeah,
with everyone
I really
else.
want to just walk around with the lanyard
Okay.
You can-
24/7.
You
You know?
can listen to his musings, his MUFON musings.
We could just make one, man. You know what I mean?
Make one out of construction paper and shit.
Make your own. What do you call it? Make your own fucking like business card. You know, MUFON number.
Yeah, so most of
Aficionado.
the movies that we've done so far are movies like from the 80s, early 90s. But like I said, this is the most recent movie that we've talked about. Again, it's just because something
far.
I just wanted to watch, and I felt, what the fuck? Why don't we just do an episode on it?
Christmas comes early to rain.
Yeah, this is my Christmas present
Segment.
from Bob Lazar, if you will.
We will.
We're gonna like bring this episode to a close. Real quick, we wanted to just talk about some of those persons who actually listen out there. I don't even know if anyone's listening to these episodes of the CineKuest
But it was
or
great.
who or where they're
Thanks
from.
all the same.
But we got a lot of people.
Considering like
Our second most downloaded country is Brazil. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kinda
It's the United
weird.
States, Brazil. What the fuck, right?
sure, like thanks guys for some kind of
But anyway,
like,
yeah, if
weird,
you're listening out
wacky
there,
ass
please,
reason out there.
Comment on something. We have Twitter, at MōKuest Studios, and
Probably get some
Instagram,
Reddit going at some point.
MōKuest Studios. Roland's still working on that Reddit. All you got to do is
Maybe
fucking put.
all are rambling at one time. Sounds like Portuguese or something.
There we go. Right, it makes more sense to you guys than it does to us. Holy shit! You're welcome.
What was that other place? Algeria. We have someone who downloaded
Algeria,
Algeria.
the
Yeah,
UK,
like, what the fuck?
shit.
I'm gonna
what
assume
else
that's a
was
spammer.
That's a
Yeah,
bot.
right.
That could be a bot.
You're gonna
just
get a
downloading
fucking.
this.
We've
You're
already
gonna
got
get a
our own
call,
bots,
man.
guys.
You're gonna get a call
Yeah.
later on, like, oh, I do listen
Telemarketing.
to CineKuest.
I heard that
They're gonna
episode
start
about Bob
making
Lazar.
money
and
off us.
You're gonna die.
Even better.
But yeah, so Instagram, we have the Instagram like we mentioned before at MōKuest Studios, at Twitter MōKuest Studios as well, and we also just started a Facebook page. If you're interested in doing that, because most of us aren't very Facebook oriented people, but I figured reaching a broader audience and
Good
like
to
maybe they
have,
can have it.
just like any
Like
of the other stuff.
it's fairly easy to just like go and
Maybe
look
Ray will
up
start a
shit. and-
Snapchat.
I do have a Snapchat, but I don't really use it very much.
No, for MōKuest, but that's
For
cool. too,
MōKuest
for
Snapchat,
you.
yeah, I'll do that too.
That's cool for you too, you creep.
Yeah, I'll Snapchat this thing, the microphones,
And nobody
because
will
no one
see
wants their face to be shown.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
There we
well,
go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I
You're
feel
right.
like
You
I
just-
feel like anyone listening to this Bob Lazar episode are people who are not gonna be on social media because they're a little too scared to be fucking like.
Yeah,
They're like-
bothering with all that.
I
Like,
think
no,
I think he
people knows
wants
what
us
I
to get
like.
on these social media
Yes.
sites so he can like
Monitor.
Scam us.
monitor our whereabouts and shit. You go, why don't you
Watch
send
me
me
when I shop at Walmart.
send me your phone number so we can find your friends on fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Go through every contact in your phone.
If I
Yes.
may
But
may
don't
just
worry, we'll keep an active database of all of
real
this.
quick
We won't
go
actually take the information.
users by country. You want to hear this? It's kind of
Just
amusing,
know.
Bryce.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the United States as the top one right now. Brazil, Algeria, Chile, Italy, New Zealand, the Philippines, Thailand, France, Kuwait, Nepal, Panama, Russia, Sri Lanka, and United Kingdom.
I sent a girl
Everywhere,
from Sri Lanka.
Thank you for all those one or two peoples or whatever from not
Whoever's downloading,
North or
even-
South
even if it's a
America.
bot
You guys
Wait a
are
downloading
minute.
shit,
great.
you
So,
know.
well, number one is the United States.
Number one's the United States,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I
Yeah.
meant just like one like person from those other places or whatever that we got.
Interesting.
I mean,
Isn't it?
if we get more popular outside the United States, that'd be pretty cool.
That's good too. Yeah. I mean, you guys want to listen to us talk about how much it's sort of okay here? Sure, why not?
But I just thought that was kind of amusing. Sort of Roland Brazil. Hey,
Yeah.
if you're out there and you're listening and you're in
That
Brazil,
it really
we
was.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could show it more, but like a lot of it was wasted. That initial
Initial
learning.
response.
Well,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like, ha, awesome.
Yeah. It was a laugh,
But,
a chuckle, a what?
All of that was there.
Because all that shit.
was there. Just wanted to make sure
Keep
to
on
share
listening,
that.
man.
Yeah, keep on
Thanks,
listening.
Brazil.
Like, don't abandon us, please.
Right.
Please, for God's sakes, don't do it.
Listen, love us.
Again, this was kind of like a spur of the moment episode that we decided to put together. We'll be back in January with Fat Food for Fat People, Anatomy of Mixtape,
All that fun shit.
another CineKuest, and
And we'll see
maybe
how
some new
Pete-
podcasts. I don't know. We're still working on that.
Yep.
So we do appreciate everyone
is
listening,
busy.
downloading. Please keep doing it. Roland, you have anything to add?
Nope, I'm Roland. That's it.
I'm Bryce.
I'm your host, Ray, and we'll see you next
Sniffles to me.
time.
There we go.